Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Glad that I'm back in Bangkok. Came all the way from Pasakorn, where I was working on organized crime on the underbelly of economics, basically on the dark side, demand-driven, all the economy. See actually how the patterns are changing in a moment with regard to this being an international business abroad. I'm not telling you more about that at the moment. It's just to alert you that sometimes you meet very interesting, very strange people with whom you share actually an accommodation for a long time to get into their minds, so to speak. So that's me basically, and that's my interest. I also work on piracy and all that stuff, terrorism, but that's my area. What I know basically with regard to economics, if you take a look at the most successful, in my opinion, organization, that's the European Union. If there's anything we had success, smashing success, so to speak, it's economics. Everybody seems to prosper from that. At least that's the capital. If you go to Berlin, if you go to London, if you go to Brussels, for example. On the ground level, that may not necessarily be the case. Now, remember one story from my hometown, where the bus service was always run by one small company for many years, until Brussels decided that the bid has to be opened on European Union level. And suddenly we send big companies from UK, from France, from Spain, which pushed our small little bus company out of the market because it was not successful enough. It was too small, it couldn't actually compete with the lower wages and the lower rates, so it went actually bankrupt. So that's the dark side of economics cooperation. And sometimes there are people who are actually not profiting. They are winners and they are losers. So what we need basically is very much the view of this economic cooperation. What is in the future of ASEAN, for example, what will we actually have in 2050 onwards? So we have two perspectives today on that. One very ground level view from Dr. Pasakorn, who will be the first speaker, and then a second view on trade facilitation and cost of non-cooperation by Dr. Nimnual. And I invite the speakers actually to say some words for themselves, why actually choose what you do before you give, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, it's kind of tough to speak after Dr. Surin about ASEAN, but I think my experience that in the past year at the local government level, I normally teach in Prince of Songkhla University in Surat Thani, and I think my experience in the local government administrative office, like when they are dealing with the ASEAN issue, would be quite interesting for you, because in terms of policy or like what is ASEAN, what would be the impact in the macro level, I think most of you have heard a lot in the past 2 years. If you notice that there are a lot of seminars or training or workshops talking about ASEAN. But what we lack of is that the perspective from the local community or local province or from regional level, that how they perceive or how they look at AEC, what they think that in what aspect of ASEAN economic community is important to them might be different from business sector or government sector in the macro level or in the central government. So I think, and also I have done a lot of academic service, like my center, ASEAN Plus Center, was funded by Surat Thani province, and the main objective is that we want to educate the people, especially the youth in the Surat Thani or especially in the rural area, to know more about ASEAN. And also another part is that we want to educate the local business sector that, as Dr. Surin mentioned, that what would be the key issue of driving AEC from now on is SMEs. So I think, I mean, in terms of regional economy, if you see that in the future, Thai economy is not only driven by the Bangkok, the regional economy will get more important and take part as a driver and increase GDP of Thai economy. So I think today I will, since I have only 20 minutes, so I will share some of my experience of my work at the local level, and then how the local community perceive ASEAN and what would be the impact on them. Thank you. Okay. Let me go to the outline of my presentation. So basically there would be 4 topics that I would discuss today. First, when we talk about ASEAN, I think you need roadmap or country Thailand strategy toward ASEAN. Why this is important? Because our center did a survey on the preparation to ASEAN Economic Community, and then we found out that on the government agency or government sector, they point out the interesting fact is that they don't have a roadmap, and they don't know what direction that they should implement their policy, because what happened is that the government just throw the money and then ask them to do anything that related to AEC. And if you are at the regional level, you will notice that if you want to get the government money or government budget, make sure that your project, your name of the project has the word AEC, then you will get the project. If not, you won't get the budget. Even though sometimes the project is not really related to AEC, this is what happened. Like sometimes I think we found that they take AEC as a fashion, or like just keep it in motion, because some sector is not really or is least affected, but they spend a lot of money. You know, so this is quite interesting. And also the third topic is on the southern economy, because as you know, Thailand is most of the GDP is from industrial sector, but in the southern is different. Most of the GDP in the southern economic structure is from agricultural, so the impact of AEC would be different. And also the last topic is challenges and opportunities. Okay, when we talk about country strategy, so I think it's good to look at the 11 National Development Plan, that what in this coming 5 or 10 years, what is the key factors that would affect Thailand, and we can divide it into 2 factors. The first group are external factors, and the second group are internal factors. Let me just discuss briefly about the external factor. First one, change in global rules and regulations. As you may know, once the economic crisis in 2008, or we call it hamburger crisis, in the US economy or the EU is crashed, and then after that there is some change in international regulation, especially in the financial sector and in trade. And also the second factor, multipolar world economy, the new order. This is like because now Asia is becoming more important. So the world is not only one polar or two polar, but it's become multipolar. But Asia become more important, and what's more important than that is that the rise of the middle income group in Asia, which come with the you have a lot of purchasing power or market opportunity here in Asia. So this is the second factor. The third one is that we all realize that aging society is also important, because after the baby boom era, right, and then now that generation is going to be a big challenge for us, because the demographic change would also have the impact on the economic structure, because once you a significant group of your population are in the aging group, that means that the productivity it might not be effective or efficient. The fourth one, I'm quite interested in this one, global warming or climate change. Especially in Thailand, there's not much awareness on this issue. I mean, when we talk about global warming and climate change, I think among scholars or government agency or just certain part of private sector aware of this, but in the local area or regional, in the south or in the north, I think people don't pay much attention about this issue. Fourth one, food and energy security. This is important. As I am a lecturer now, the government is very willing to give a research fund on food security. Food security, because it's going to be a crucial problem in the future, because every year there's increased demand on food. So the food security is also the crucial factor. The next one, advanced technology, nanotechnology, ICT, this and cognitive, especially cognitive science, has changed our society. And the last one, international terrorism, this is also important. And let me move to the internal factors. First one, economic aspect. As you may know, Thailand rely a lot on FDI, foreign direct investment, and also export. But we can't rely on that because it's not sustainable. Why? As the world is very connected, and things happen in the US, the next day we can feel the impact, which is totally different from the past. And what's more important than that is the world is changed very fast and dynamic and fluctuate. So this is important. So and the second factor is social aspect. What's important about social aspect is that, as I mentioned earlier, about the social welfare issue, because we have a lot of illegal workers coming into Thailand. So this is going to be another crucial issue in the future. Natural resource and environmental aspect. As we may know that natural resources have been depleted, environment has been degraded, and recently the issue that happened with PTT Thailand on the summit island. This is quite fascinating, because I mean, you can see how Thai people are not aware of the, or what would I say? If this kind of thing happened in the US or the EU, PTT limited company would be in big trouble. But this kind of thing happened in Thailand. I mean, people in Thailand, maybe the environmental issue is not the first priority, and they perceive this differently from people in the US or the EU. So then what they do is that if the news say, oh, the water is clean and you cannot see the oil field, it's okay, right? This is reflect the different mental or perspective on this kind on environmental issue. And the last one, administration aspect. This is interesting because in the past few years, Thai are more active in politics, and they express their opinion, which is totally quite different from the past. So this is a challenging issue, that how society or government will manage the different perspective of political belief, and to get the society move on. Okay. Okay, I should move faster than this. Okay, and so then I try to look what among the strategy that should related to ASEAN economic community. I found out that at the National Economic Development Plan on the strategy number 5, they stated that create regional connectivity for social and economic stability. So basically they focus on infrastructure and improving investment competitiveness, and also the educational institution capacity. And in addition, they also focus on the labor skill development. Okay. This is the Thailand new growth model. So this is our goals in 10 to 15 years. There are 3 important areas. One is inclusive growth, how to reduce the gap of the income distribution. Second is green growth. So in the next few years, the issue about green economy will become more important and very important. And the last one, growth and competitiveness, which is on this aspect is related to the ASEAN. So they try to increase competitiveness on Thai export, and also in terms of preparation to ASEAN economic community. Okay. So I summarized the Thailand strategy toward ASEAN for you, and then they mainly focus on trade to build up trade competitiveness. The second one, quality of life development, which is mainly related to the access to social welfare, and then human well-being, rules, laws and regulations, infrastructure and logistics, human resource development, and then also awareness and understanding about ASEAN. They also focus on the national security. What I think is quite interesting is that the government also give the focus on how to link the key province in each region to ASEAN. Like in southern would be Hat Yai, or in the northeastern would be Udon or Nong Khai, or in the north would be Chiang Mai, to reap up or to catch up about the benefit of ASEAN economic community. Okay. Then southern economic structure. Every time, this is quite interesting. Every time I teach my students and I ask that, so do you think Thailand is an industrial country or agricultural country? I always get the answer, Thailand is an agricultural country. I said, well, if you study economics, you have to look at the GDP. And then most of the GDP, Thai GDP from industrial sector, 29.7%. But if you look at the South, economic structure is different story. The main sector is agriculture, 35.8%. Industrial only 13.5%. So the key sector is agriculture. And if you notice what I put on others, mostly are service. It contribute like about 50 or more than 50%. This sector will become very important in the future because the service is growing, and also ASEAN economic community, once they open more service sector, it would affect this sector a lot. The key products, as I mentioned, main economic structure is on agriculture. So the key products of the southern economy is one is palm oil, second is rubber, third is sheep production, and the last one is tourism. This is our key sectors that bring in a lot of money. And if you notice that in the not this year, getting back like 5 years from now, the southern people enjoy a lot of benefit from increase in rubber price and palm oil price. So they are doing quite well. There are a lot of private consumption. But recently, I think it just began at the end of last year. Rubber price dropped, palm oil price dropped, and if the easily economic indicator in the south is that if you go to the mall, nobody at the mall, nobody is spending. They're not in the mood of spending their money because the rubber price and palm oil price is, I think, is a key economic indicator for the south. That once the price is going up, I live in Surat Thani, so sometimes I call it the city of Fortuner or Pajero. Because if you notice, it's totally different from Bangkok. If you go down south, Surat Thani or Nakhon Si Thammarat or Chumpon, if you put yourself on the at the side of the street, and if you're standing there for 1 minute, I guarantee you can count more than 5 Fortuners or 5 Pajeros. Because of what? Because these people, most people who are in the business sector are in the palm oil or rubber price, and they are doing well. But now it's different story. What happened is that once they get rich, but they don't know how to, they tend to spend, overspending. They buy new house, they buy new cars. But once the price drop, how can they afford to pay the payment? This is the problem that is going on right now. And also the tourism. This is our key strength. We got a lot of tourism coming in this every year. In Surat Thani, as you know, we have a world destination tourist attraction. One is Samui, second is Phangan. But if I want to try to relate it to ASEAN, one time I got invited to be a guest lecturer to talk about the impact on Samui tourism with AEC or ASEAN. This is quite difficult because if you look at the tourists, the number of tourists coming in, the majority of tourists is from Russia. It is not from ASEAN. The second one, you can relate it a little bit, is and the second is European, and the growing group is Chinese. It's not Malaysia, it's not Indonesia, but there are one issue that concern is that if you have the experience travel from the south to Malaysia by bus, the big issue now is that our bus cannot get across the border, the tour bus. You have to use the Malaysian bus because they said that Thai bus driver is careless. So this is kind of a trade barrier or something like that. But Thailand allow Malaysian tour bus to come in. Like it's common to see in Hat Yai because it's close. But one time I was invited as a guest lecturer and as talking about ASEAN and Malaysian tourist bus. And then suddenly we just saw the Malaysian tour bus on Samui. This is what I mean. This means something is that how can they get in through the border and then coming up to Samui with like nobody stop them because I mean they're supposed to use Thai bus too, you know. So this is a quite interesting issue. Also, the current economic condition in the south, as I mentioned, that it's not quite good right now because of the decrease in the falling in agricultural price, especially rubber and palm. So people in the south, they have two things: palm oil price and rubber price. This is affect a lot of economic activities. And the shrimp production, because of the recently there is an outbreak, and it's decreased a lot of the production. Tourists, we still doing quite well. Tourists, we still doing quite well. I would like to point out this very important data is that border trade. As you can see that this is the data about border trade through Custom House in 2012. South, I would like to point out that actually the southern part is quite important because Malaysian trade with Malaysia is contribute like more than 50% of the total border trade through the custom house compared to custom house in Laos, Myanmar or Cambodia. As Dr. Surin mentioned earlier at Dam Nok, that many tourists from Singapore or Indonesia come in just for particular business. When we talk about ASEAN connectivity, there are several government big projects going on in the south right now. One is a Hat Yai Style motorway. I think this is still under studying the feasibility. Second one is a dual track train from Prachuap to Chumpon, 167 kilometers. And the last one, high-speed train from Bangkok to Hua Hin, which is not actually the south, but we hope someday we'll get down to Hat Yai. I have a discussion with my friend, and then if you look in terms of statistics, I mean, among the south, we make fun is that, oh, don't worry, you don't get a high-speed train. Because if you look at the big government infrastructure project record, it takes about 20 years to get it complete or finished. So, I mean, for the high-speed train, we expect that we might see in 2030 or 2040 or something. You know, from the record, like if you notice, Hopewell project, Suvarnabhumi Airport, right? It takes more than 20 years to get it done, right? So let's count on the high-speed train. Things might change. Okay. My center also we did a survey on the what I call since the ASEAN Secretariat they issued the AEC scorecard. So I also study the readiness of people in the Surat Thani to ASEAN Economic Community. We look at three groups. One is a business sector. Second is from the civil society of people. Third is on the educational institute. From the business sector, we get quite interesting information is that if you ask the large business, they are ready, they know a lot of information, they know what to do. But if you ask the small and medium enterprise, they still have no idea what to do. I mean, most of them know what is AEC, but they don't know what's the impact on their economy, on their sector. And what's interesting is that the question is that, do you think AEC is an opportunity, threat, or both? The answer is quite diverse. But this is not a surprise because it depends on each business sector you are in. If you are in the tourist business, most of them see AEC as opportunities. But if you ask people from especially small farmers in the palm oil, they think AEC could be a threat for them. So it depends on each sector that they are in. And I asked about, do they know about AEC blueprint? The percentage is quite low. And also the MRA, Mutual Recognition Agreement, the percentage is quite low as well. For the people sector, as you see that we did a survey and we collect from every district in Surat Thani province. In general, about 58% are aware that what is AEC or knows what is AEC. But what's interesting is that only 38% can communicate in English, which is no surprise because people in the regional or provincial area, I mean, their English skill is quite low. But this is give us a quite interesting policy recommendation. If you want to develop in terms of human development, maybe you have to rely on younger generation to improve their English skills. Also, we asked that what country they know the most in ASEAN, and not surprised, the most answer is Malaysia. because people in the south is quite familiar with Malaysia. And the second rank is Singapore. Okay, and in the educational institution, the interesting is that English is still a key barrier. Also, they are not ready for educational liberalization. What does it mean? It means that if you want them to accept the international student to their school, they're not ready yet. Because most of the teachers cannot speak English, except English teacher. Also, there is no clear policy in terms of educational institution from the government that what they should do to prepare for ASEAN Economic Community. And the last point, lack of in-depth knowledge about ASEAN. We found in educational institution and in also business sector that they know that okay, this when you get into ASEAN Economic Community, there will be 600 populations in total. Right? In general, they know the general information, but they don't know the in-depth knowledge, like what would be the impact, how would they adjust to get ready for ASEAN Economic Community. Okay. And the last slide, opportunities and challenge. I think our key point in the South, in the tourist industry is Thailand. Because once I went to Malaysia and I asked the professor she's teaching tourism and I asked that, do you why Malaysia like to come to Thailand a lot? What is interesting about us? And they said, in terms of tourism, they cannot compete because of what? Because Thai people still have more service mind compared to other ASEAN countries. This is our strength. And so, if you want to promote the tourism industry, I think Thailand is still the key point that you have to focus on and keep it. And also, I asked but another interesting point is that I asked my Singaporean friend, he comes to Thailand like 10 times a year, and he said, why do you like Bangkok so much? And he said, this is the only place I can eat food on the sidewalk. So I think sometimes the disorganized can be a good advantage, you know. Yeah, I mean, people come to Thailand for different reasons. Yeah, he said because he cannot do this at home. Yeah, right. So I mean, in terms of tourists, I think we are doing quite good because we have a lot of mixture. Also, human resource development, people, private and government. Not only people in Bangkok, but in provincial or in rural area, I think they still behind a lot. So you need to focus more on this kind of people. Language skills, 2 languages is not enough. Now you need 3. I asked my student how many languages you can speak, and they say I can speak Thai and I can speak Southern dialect. That's enough for me. So no, not enough. You need English, and English is not enough anymore. You need Chinese or Korean or Japanese. So this generation needs at least 3 languages. And value added or innovative is a key, especially in the rubber industry. Even though we are the world exporter, but the problem is that we export only the raw materials. We cannot increase the value added. This is a big challenge for us. And I think this is not a new thing. We keep saying this for many years. And I think I see a good side from Board of Investment. I think they're restructuring the how to give privilege to industry. Like now they will rely much on research and innovation. And also the next point is urbanization. As I told you, in the future, not only Bangkok will drive the Thai economy. The regional economy is important because of the urbanization. Right? You will see a lot of growing cities in each region. Right, in the south, Hat Yai, Phuket, Surat Thani. People will change their lifestyle, and they will spend more. Okay. What is the most problem is that small farmers. The reason we cannot compete with the Malaysian in the palm oil industry because of the structure. Because in Thailand, most of people who grow the palm oil is small farmers, not the big company like Malaysia. And also, the industry in Malaysia has been developed for more than 30 years. And Thailand is just only, compared to Malaysia, just a few years. So this is palm oil that sector is quite a problem and quite challenging for South, in the South. And the last point, violence in the South and the three provinces. This is still a big debate in terms of economic. I give one of my student assignment to do the research topic is that as you see the news, like the explosion, and if you count the incident in the South, it's quite a lot. In the three provinces, it's quite a lot. But we wonder why government should pay more attention to this. But if you look in terms of economic perspective, if you do some research that does it affect economy as a whole, or does it affect the southern economy, we found that it just affects only small. People tend to perceive or limited the effect in only three provinces. But this is my assumption is that once the perception change or the private sector change the perception is that things that happen in the three provinces it also affect their business, then it will have a larger impact. Now people seem to separate, like, okay, this happened in only three provinces, so the business in other provinces is still doing okay, right? So nobody care much. I mean, even in the south, right? I'm in Surat Thani, the economy is doing quite well. I'm in Nakhon Si Thammarat, economy is still doing quite well, even though every day there's an explosion or the incident in the three provinces in the south. From the economic perspective, that how would it affect economy as a whole, and then this might be at least can explain why the government or business sector, even people in the south among itself that care, they should pay more attention, but you see just a certain level of attention to this issue. Okay, I should wrap up. Thank you very much.
It's the AEC Strategy Center. So I'm from the University of Thai Chamber of Commerce. It's owned by Thai Chamber of Commerce. The Thai Chamber of Commerce discussed about this center about a year ago because there's a big need for SME in Thailand, and also businessmen who actually want to go to invest or take benefit of the AEC, but they don't know how. And there are many centers focusing on the AEC in different perspectives. But in our center, who, as myself, has a legal background, so we're focusing on the legals and laws and regulations in other ASEAN countries, and we're hoping that we will be the center who help the SME to go to invest and do business in other ASEAN countries. That's what we're doing. So it's about a year. We have been doing a lot of projects with Asia Foundation, and also much more to come to promote, to help the SME getting ready for the AEC. For this particular project that I want to discuss with you today, it's a project that we, Asia Foundation, has come up with wonderful question that I and my team have to answer. So the question was, if the trade facilitation among ASEAN countries is improved, as they all agree, in the AEC movement, will the customer pay less? People talking about, yes, this is the AEC, the follow-up, the progress of the AEC, and not so many people actually looking into the benefit of the consumer, what they will get, and also the consumer themselves didn't really realize what they will get, especially, when we're talking about, free movement of goods and free movement of services. We're talking about all the businesses would just say, oh yeah, we have a lot of competitors, we have to prepare this. But actually, no one really emphasized that the consumer would get the benefits. When you look at the telecommunication, the telecom sector in Thailand, it would be much more, the benefit would be if it's liberalized trade in services. it would be the cost will be cheaper, the customer will pay less, right? And also, hopefully, the service would be better. So we got the funding from Asia Foundation last year to study if, what are the main obstacles to the improvement of the trade facilitation, and also we did some program just to see the result. If everything will be implemented as agreed, what would be the result, and then I will come to tell you the result today. And I also have some recommendations. Of course, we have found a lot of problems here, and then me and our team, we put some of the recommendations that we would like to share with you. Am I speaking too fast? No? Okay. Just try to wake everyone up. Okay, as you know that, in order to become the AEC, we want to become a single market and single production base in 2015, and it's composed of 5 elements. Just today, I would like to share about the free movement of goods. When you're talking about liberalized trade in goods, we're talking about tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers. The good thing is the tariff barriers, the elimination of tariff barriers has been almost done. Why would I say that? Because, as of 2010 already, almost 100% of the products of the tariff lines between ASEAN 6 countries, not ASEAN, Pacific, 6 originating countries, already 0%. It went down to 0%. It means that goods between those countries already circulated for no tariff. Okay, what about the other new countries? CLMV, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Vietnam. They're getting there. In 2015, yes, we have a lot of things in place, and we have the set timeline, and things will get done for sure in 2000. Oh, I can't say for sure with the ASEAN. Okay, if it goes as agreed, it will be 0%. So you're looking into 600 million people, goods can circulate inside ASEAN. But it's the non-tariff barrier comes to play a very significant role in this, because the non-tariff barriers are still there. They actually really block the free movement of goods in ASEAN. Okay, so the blueprint said, yes, of course, we will improve trade facilitation. We will by simplifying, harmonizing, standardized trade and custom. Has this been done? Yes, we are getting there. However, from our research show that it's not making any progress. Dr. Surin Piswan said earlier, we are very different, in each country, and each, laws and regulation also very different. Found actually what they promised, but have been done fast enough. This project, we did the survey for 6 countries, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia, and I'm missing one here, Malaysia. So we went to we did the literature review just to see from 2000 and 2000 until, between 2000, 2012 and 2012, are there any trade barriers, and what are scholars found? And we will compare with what we found. After that, we will explore, the main obstacle, and then we use GTAP model. So if you have, during the question, don't ask me about GTAP model, because I have legal background, so other team who has economics background did that, but it's very interesting result that I will share with you. And then, this is what we found. We did the survey. We asked the key players in each country, we asked logistic companies, we asked custom officer, and also we asked consumers in each country. And people say pretty much almost the same thing. And also, we also did the national conference. We invite people from those countries, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, and also Laos got together, and we think about, what are the problems here. And what we found, the main problem that we found, with the transportation, yes, the delay, poor infrastructure, and the most important thing that Dr. Pasakorn just said earlier, Why Malaysian bus can come and operate here? Why can't Thai bus do the same? Or the trucks from Thailand, can our trucks go to Laos, Vietnam, or to Myanmar? They can't, because of just the difference of the traffic system. This is new, what we found? No, it's not. What actually we found here is not new at all, but it has been going on for I don't know how many years. But people didn't really, address that, because I think when it's come to talking about rules and regulation, they're just trying to say, yeah, that's what we have, we're different, and that's all. Be different. That's not the answer today. Okay, so hopefully what we have now, and we publish this book, this report, and it will just tell people that yes, this is what we have for more than 10 years, and they should do something about it. Okay, so informal payment in every country. What is it? Talk about bribery, under table, corruption. They just said, don't call that. I don't want to hear. It's some countries said, it's a gift. We call it as gift. Can I take a gift? And some officers just say that this is very sad, but it's true. They say, well, that's a gift. They're very kind to us. We got very low pay. So that's how we need to survive. And it's just go around like this if something, no one wants to do something about it. So this is shown in every country. Everyone just talk about informal payment, just different term. In some country, like in Myanmar, they said, oh no, this is not the word that you should use. And in Laos and even in Thailand. But we cannot avoid it. If we want to be the ASEAN Economic Community, if we want to eliminate trade barriers, this is the main trade barriers. Everything block the free flow of goods, and also who pay at the end? Consumer, right? Because of course the producer, seller add those costs to the customer. So that's why I think this is very important point. The logistics services also, it's very difficult. Limited, yes, and also the difficulty when they want to do what is called, let's say there was 3 years ago, there's a truck from Malaysia, from Singapore went to Malaysia, and then Thailand, and then went to Laos and Vietnam. It's supposed to be like that when you're talking about free movement of goods. So ASEAN single window, that's supposed to be the easy thing. You use one paper. You use one set of paper from the originating country, and then you go until the end without have to open or unload the truck again. So it seemed to be a problem regarding the custom procedures as well, or the synchronize between each country, each ASEAN country. These are also obstacles that we found. You see that's a lot. I'm not going to list all of this. You see much more. Yesterday I was preparing this presentation and think, should I, put them all? Then you probably won't get enough time to enjoy the food during the lunchtime. This is just, some sample of it. And also, after we found those problems, we use the GTAP model just to, put the scenarios. What if everything were implemented as planned? What will happen? Okay, would they, our assumptions say that, yeah, we'll pay less for sure, but is this true or not? Then the results say, yes, it's true. The GDP will increase, and also the import price and the intra-trade will increase as well. If you're looking into the full report, we probably come out in about 3 months. Okay, so you can talk to the Asia Foundation if you want a copy of it. And then once we found this, we all agree with our team and also Asia Foundation, and also you probably agree that these are not news. What we found, these are not news, but it's a proof. It's a proof that it's still there. We're not going to make free movement of goods in 2015 if we don't take care of this. Okay? So we come up with the recommendations. The recommendations that we have found are very good. Besides you just don't look at what we have, what we recommend. Other scholars have recommended many interesting, but the key point is there is no action. they won't take any action. Or, it's difficult to take any action when you or each country trying to protect their own interest or own benefit. Okay, so some of the recommendations that we have, what we found is the problem with transparency, problem with the custom officer. They don't even. Some of the countries have very low ability to do the IT, the more advanced IT system or international standard. So when you synchronize between some countries, like the country of Singapore, Malaysia, and then you compare with other new member countries, that's a big difference. So we recommend that they need to help each other to train the custom officers, not only in each country. It has to be as a whole, right? It's just everyone have the same standard. We talk about different systems. I think that should be enough, because now we're just going to make it through the synchronized system. Okay? And then institutional reform. Why do we need that? I just mentioned earlier that when people or when government officers still get very low pay and they don't even see the benefit of the single market. They don't see the benefit, why do they need to facilitate the trade? So that must be important point that each single member need to go back and look what's going on there and then just need to reform it. I'm not talking about increasing salary. It's not the main problem here. It has to be the whole organization. I have seen the example in Thailand. We got a project also from the Ministry of Justice. They're redoing the whole justice system. They want to comply with the AEC and also the AC, the upcoming ASEAN community. Okay, so each single ministry and in each country have to think about what they need to do. In terms of the trade, just talking about trade itself, rules and regulations are different. You have different games. You have different players. And also you have different rules and regulations in 2015. It's already started. So I think each country, each government agency cannot just do the same. There must be some, and not some improvement. It has to be improved in somewhat comply with what they have agreed in terms of getting into the ASEAN economic community, especially the customs department. They know about it, but how we can get it done, that's a difficult question. Improving infrastructure. Yes, when you're talking about improvement, you're thinking about, yes, it's a lot of funding, a lot of money, we need to do this and that. But what we see is, what you have to do is, you just have to get together. You have to link between 10 ASEAN countries. Thailand cannot talk about, yes, this is what we're going to do, and then Myanmar say this, and Laos say that. No, it has to be the linkage between each country. And also, when we're talking about the difference of the traffic, it's always a problem. Because when you look into the border between Thailand and Laos, every single truck, the Thai truck has to be reloaded. When reloaded, you mean an extra cost for time, right? And also, you have to change the truck. If it's perishable goods, then when you open the truck, when they open for the inspection of, the custom officer, you lose the temperature in the truck. That's also even single thing that creates a problem. All what I have been saying now is, this is the time to look inside what should be done and what has not been done. Again, Dr. Surenpiswan this morning, he said that we didn't have a lot of intra-ASEAN trade. From our study, we found that we trade only raw material. So one of the important things would be, we need to make it as a single production base. We have to make industrial cluster across the region. Not, I want to produce this, I want to make this, I want to make that. It has to be the the common project and the common approach that all ASEAN countries that agree to do something different. What have been done, I understand it's taking slow, and at some point, I think it has been taking too slow. I first started this focus on the ASEAN economic integration back 15 years ago. Don't count my age. 15 years ago. 15. Oh, not really 20. Yes, it's still going on. I think it's too long. We can't compare to any part of the world because we understand the difference. But isn't it enough to stop saying that it's different? You just agree to be different, and what should be done? Okay, there are a lot to be done. I see some improvement. I talked to people like logistic companies in Myanmar. They said yes, a lot of improvement that we have seen. But the question will be, is this enough? And then 2015 has been, postponed. Our goal has been postponed. Actually, it's a year, right? From the beginning of the year until the end of the year. If we don't do anything, then we're going to have to do another postponement. We're going to do it again and again. I think, with this research, we'll share some of the idea, or actually, sorry, not the idea, reflect the current situation to you and hopefully to the public. And then people as the consumer will actually take part of the change. Because if they did not see that, okay, this AEC, I've been giving talks about AEC for, I think last year, 40 events. People talk in different way, but not a single one. Think about what I will get from the AEC as I am a consumer. I talked with one airline, and it's very interesting because they said, look, with a low-cost airline, we link you to ASEAN country. You can do business here, you can fly to Myanmar, you can fly to Hong Kong, you can fly to Singapore. They said, And then they said, wait, you forgot about one thing, Professor. Customer pay low price, right? And that's a real benefit of the free trade in goods. I was like, okay, yes, that's just true. So I would like to, now, a lot of people should pay attention to what the consumer will get, and also how the consumer, and then everyone, the government of each country, and also the consumer, and also the businessmen would go together and try to help the goal of AEC 2015 happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was quite an interesting array of non-trade barriers. Never heard of many of them like this one. Time for 15 to 20 minutes questions, so please feel free to ask both of our presenters whatever you like before lunch. Who wants to make it first?
Hi, my name is Tuara, and I'm working as an intern at HDFF. I'd like to ask, because you were talking about the deregulation of trade barriers and such, and to facilitate the movement of goods across borders, but as Southeast Asia, as we know, it has other problems such as drug trafficking and human trafficking. Do you think that it's possible to have a healthy society with deregulated movement of goods without having, like in Europe, have the Europol to check on drug trafficking and human trafficking? Do you think that is necessary for Southeast Asia as well? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very interesting question. Actually, it is very good idea to look into that model. What has been done in the EU. We're not talking about only about goods. The consumer will pay less, and we lower the cost. I think very soon, or it's even now, it should be somebody or any organization or one government during the meeting should raise this point, because when we're talking about not only trade in goods, free movement of skilled labor, okay, then how you would track the movement of people? My point point was, we know we have the custom officer, we have custom department of each country looking into the transport of the goods, and we also need to have some organization or some government agency looking into the problem with human trafficking and also the drugs problem also. Even though the drugs, in terms of narcotic, it's not the good as we define in ASEAN, but it's good for some people, right? It's good they're selling, they're trading. I think that's very important that needs to be taken into account.
Asichai, independent consultant. Sit down because we're blocking people behind me. Maybe one question for each. For Dr. Pasakorn, who is now sitting in Dr. Niramon's debate. Okay, the southern Thailand. You may have heard about this sub-regional grouping, IMTGT, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. Sort of growth triangle. How do you see that? Because it was seen that I think practically all of the southern provinces are part of the IMTGT, if I remember correctly. So would there be more, shall we say, synergy and more complementarities? Let's say something on halal food or something like that, And how do you see? Because I think ASEAN treats all these sub-regional like Greater Mekong and TGT, and then we have on the eastern side, the Big Biaga, which is the Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia one. How do you see that playing out in the coming years? I know they also have a secretariat, based in Kuala Lumpur or something. They are doing something. And then also on the scorecard, the way ASEAN, has come about developing their AEC scorecard, as far as I know, is that they are mostly coming from the government officials. Data and things, it's the government evaluating itself. But if you take the line of thinking like what Dr. Surin is saying, where you need to have a real reality check, what do the business think, what do the people think, then you may come up with some interesting or different scorecard. So what do you think about that? And then maybe to Dr. Nimnual, I agree with you on all the challenge, shall we say, barriers. Some are maybe hidden, not so subtle and not so apparent, but we all know it. It's not corruption, governance issues. Even you're saying the barriers that you mentioned. The bureaucratic red tape. There are ways to streamline it if we really want to do it. There are ways to go against anti-corruption, just like what Thailand is trying to do from the private sector side. So, but then in ASEAN, these issues are not under AEC. These are under APSC. Under the political security kind of group, the pillar. They mention a lot on these things. So maybe there needs to be more cross-pillar dialogue and interaction. What is your view on that?
In October, they will have meetings in Samoy, in Surat Thani, and as you may know, at the beginning, I think right now the government tried to lift up the importance of IMTGT to the southern region, because in the past, I think they mainly focused in trying to link it with the border provinces, and I think it has not been doing quite well. So 3 months earlier, I attended a meeting in the Surat Thani province, actually Upper South Strategic Planning Committee, and what surprised me is that they brought up the issue of IMTGT and asked Surat Thani or Nakhon Si Thammarat, Phanga to come up with the strategic plan to link the province with the IMTGT, and I think this is a sign that the government tried to lift up the IMTGT cooperation and try to get more province involved. But the problem is that the way the government manages, because as you see that at the region level or provincial level, the government structure, you have each province, and you have a strategic office at each province, and they also group a province together. Like for Suratthani is Gulf of Thailand group, and this is a big problem because each province still have their own self-interest. So once they group them together and then they try to link it with the IMTGT, the policy seems to lost the direction because each province try to propose what benefit to them, not to the group. Like the good example is that Suratthani and Nakhon Si Thammarat propose the same thing. We want to be the logistic hub. So which province will be the logistic hub? So then when they ask for the government budget, these two provinces is proposing the same thing. I mean they should discuss before and then you come up with a clear-cut policy that okay, we agree that Suratthani should be the logistic hub, not Nakhon Si Thammarat. So then it depends on each meeting. Once Suratthani lost the negotiate power to Nakhon in certain meeting, then the budget go to Nakhon Si Thammarat, right? And then another meeting or another budget go to Suratthani. So which province will be a logistic hub in the Upper South? Yeah, but I see a good side that the government try to link with other provinces to think that how they could get benefit or get involved in the IMTGT. And regarding the second question about the reality check, I totally agree with you. Even though the ASEAN scorecard, I mean, I 50% believe it because it's a self-assessment by yourself. You know, what that will give you a clear picture is that you need an independent agency came in and then do a reality check for you. Also, let me share the point with Dr. Nimnual about this is I think the Asia Foundation give funded to her project is a good point is that we rarely talk about, like we always talk about, oh, we have free trade, tariff barrier is already eliminated. But actually, the big issue is not tariff barrier. The big issue is non-tariff barrier. That what she studied and nobody brought up this issue quite often. This is a big burden. The big issue from now on, from 2015, is that non-tariff barrier. We no longer talking about tariff elimination, and even tariff elimination itself. Nobody brought up the fact that actually the utilization rate is quite low, about 50%. I mean, which means what? Only half using. What about the other half? You know. So I mean, I think it's still a lot of challenge on ASEAN economic community to move to that direction. But I think they're getting there, but at a slow pace. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question of the non-tariff barriers program in ASEAN. Like you mentioned, it's not a lot of Thai people now they try to understand the AEC, but then how to get the benefit. That's, you know, many people did not know, small, medium, or the big companies, they didn't know that their products actually have to be qualified as the ASEAN product. Otherwise, the 0% tariff rate doesn't apply to their products, for instance. And also for your question, this is very good point. Your question actually lead to show the importance of the linkage between three pillars: the political, and the socio-cultural, and also the economic. It can't go alone. We're focusing more for the politics, or for the corruption or those problems, where we can't talk to only in particular pillar, you know, political and security pillar. It's also shown in my reports and also many studies that it's still there, and also it's affect the free trade in goods, and also in terms of the socio-cultural pillar also. Not only for your suggestion, they have to link more I really, really agree, and also not only them in each group or each meeting or each working group of the ASEAN. I think the whole institution, the whole ASEAN should link 3 pillars together. Some is slow, like Dr. Surin mentioned, and some is getting quite important, especially like for socio-cultural and also for the AEC. Actually, they go together. For instance, like I advise a lot of companies to invest in CLMV countries. They don't really have, at the beginning, they will have a lot of problem in terms of getting license, established there, what type of company they will use. They will use company, branch will get, support like BOI or not. That's one issue. But the main issue that I have found lately, that's the issue between people who work together. There's one company in the Thai company set up in Laos. It's about 3,000 million baht investment. With 100% capacity of the factory, they can do only 40%. Why? The problem that we assessed, that we found, Thai people, Thai management level that went to Laos, they could not really communicate with Laos people. We speak almost the same. If you say you understand, Laos language, and then Thai, they also understand Thai, but that's not the problem. We're talking about the culture, the way we talk, the way we think. That's also the main problem in the operational level, and it's lead to the successful of the companies who actually, let's say Thai companies investing in different countries. So I think, from my point of view, it is very important the 2 pillars go together. But if 2 pillars go together for the economics and cultural goes together, that's not enough. We need to talk about security of the company, of the people who go in there and doing, integration. So people talk about the AEC, and now it's time to talk about the ASEAN community. Many people, when I give give lectures, they said, when I say AC, ASEAN community, they was like, Professor, you're missing economic, you're missing E. Not a lot of people know that not only the AEC is happening, it's going to happen in 2015. It's ASEAN community. So I think this message needs to send out across 10 ASEAN countries. So then people feel like this is what is going to happen in terms of integrated in everything. Just one question to you. If I ask you, sir, if I ask you, are you European? What would be an answer? European.
I'm American.
Okay, so then European, what I ask, right? If someone come and ask you, are you Asian? Yes, Asian, black hair, black eyes. Are you ASEAN? No one will answer that, right? Because that is not the feeling of being ASEAN. They would think probably you're not so crazy why you ask this question. But if you ask European, that is why ASEAN trying to become one identity. It doesn't go only picking up each pillar. It has to go all 3 pillars. That's hopefully I answered.
That was quite an interesting answer, especially against the backdrop of the Scottish secession, if I may call it like that. So there's a referendum next year.